be irulau. Watch your back, the trench is gonna get you. Watch your back, the trench is gonna get you. Watch your back,
Oh, there's a giant here. It's a coming from the Txikisode. Gotta wash those red hands. It's the crimes of the Badlands. It's the crimes of the Badlands. All right.
Hey,
Hi,
Julie.
Douglas.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Not bad. Bad.
Good. This is Crimes of the Basque Lands.
Yeah.
We are a true crime podcast, and we focus on crimes that occur in the Basque Country or around the world with any tenuous link to the Basque Country.
That is us indeed.
Yes. So tonight we're drinking musker.
Musker, yeah.
Yep. Apple cider. So, and it's from
Astigarrega,
yes,
which is
Astigarrega.
just south of Donostia.
Yeah.
In San Sebastian.
Well, there you go. So tonight we're doing a Txikisode,
Yes.
a mini episode. It's never usually mini. It's not any shorter than other
normal-
episodes usually, but it's
normal
just
size.
mini headlines. We're just talking about small stories.
Short stories, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one.
So not going very in depth into stories. Just
Yeah.
talking about what's been happening around this part of the world.
Yeah.
Or in the world
Also.
with other Bascos, right?
Exactly. And you're going to have the first story.
Yeah, my first story
hear.
is... Okay, so when it comes to these Txikisodes, I figure if I'm going to talk about something really horrible, let's go with it at the beginning, and then we can go out
Yeah.
with a nicer, lighter...
Oh, right. Yeah. That makes
We'll
sense.
end on more of a lighter note, okay?
Yeah.
So this really horrible story is out of Orio, which is also in Guipúzcoa. It's not too far from San Sebastian,
Okay.
down the coast. I've been to Orio. Have you?
I don't think so. On the coast, you say, though. I
Yeah,
might...
it's like along the Camino de Santiago. So I've been doing separate routes along the Camino from starting in Donosti, and then I do different etapas or stages,
oh, really?
I guess I should say.
Oh, that's sweet.
So
didn't know that.
with Bobby, so we take, to one city, and then we'll stop there and have lunch, and then the next time we'll take the train to that city where we stopped and do the next
Yep.
stage
Yeah.
to the next city and
Well,
have lunch.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. So, and Orio's just a little, small town on the coast.
It is very sweet. Just along from Donostia, really.
And
was
Zaraus, yeah.
Was that one day?
That's the first,
for you
the first
guys?
stage from, that was the first time, yeah.
For the people to understand, the Camino Santiago goes to Santiago de Compostela
Or,
in
what is it? In
St. James.
St. James, yeah.
Of Compostela, which is a town in Galicia. And so it's a very old thing, but like in the 70s or 80s, nobody was doing it. Like you would go to this as a kind of religious procession. No,
Right,
peregrinaje?
pilgrimage, yeah.
Thank you. So anyway, in the 80s, it wasn't really happening until somebody wrote a book.
Yes.
I think it was this...
There's a book, there's a movie.
Some Brazilian
Yeah.
guy, I think. Anyway, this one, interior one, is the one that got popularized first.
Oh.
And so because of that, it has pretty regular hotels, like every 15 kilometers. So.
Yeah, hostels. They're more
Exactly, yeah.
They're more like a hostel type situation where you're sleeping in like dorm kind
Yeah.
of situation with bunk beds.
Originally, that's the thing though. Like
Yeah.
originally,
But they still are.
they do. Yeah,
A lot of them are still like
you
that.
still do. But it's up to you really where you want to stay.
Yeah, you can stay wherever you want.
Exactly,
obviously,
but because there's less.
But you get like a discount if you're on the.
You sometimes, depending on the hotel that you place.
Right.
But if it's a municipal hostel thing, there's all sorts of discounts, and it's really cheap to do, which is why a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did the southern one because my friend was doing that
All the
one.
way to Galicia.
From Burgos.
Really?
So that was what?
So you did the whole thing to
600.
Santiago?
Yeah, it was like 21 days, I think.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So, but what was funny as well, though, was so this friend of mine, Bridie. Hi, Bridie, if you're
Hi.
listening.
I don't know who you are, but hi.
It's, she's Australian, and we met studying Japanese in Japan.
Okay.
And so anyway, so she was when we went down to Burgos, she lasted like 2 or 3 days. And she was like, okay, I'm just going to get a bus.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah. But then...
And then you walked the whole rest of the way?
I just walked the rest of the way, yeah.
Oh my God.
Because the whole thing of the Camino is, for me, I found extremely addictive, which is you kind of get up in the morning, you see some people.
Yes, I can see how that is, yeah.
And then you say hi, and then you kind of have lunch, and you see other people, and then you get to the evening to the next place, and then you settle in, and then you might see that those people that you were walking to and said hi to you during the day might be sleeping there, or you might have dinner together, or just have a drink afterwards in a bar, and it's just this moving community of people.
Yeah.
Plus, there was a lot of Camino love in my group, so a lot of things happening.
Spicy.
Exactly. Canadians meeting Americans.
Woo!
Americans meeting Europeans. It was very interesting.
They don't talk about that in the movie or the book.
No. There's all sorts of Caminos. That was the best.
It's a hookup scene. It was a hookup scene.
Yeah, nothing concrete happened with me, but there was tension in the air. So it was quite fun. I
had no idea you actually did it.
Really recommend it.
Well, this story was the 17th of May at around 5:20 p.m., so middle of the day, on Aranzale Street.
Fisherman's Street.
Right outside of a children's park. There was a woman sitting on a bench who was approached by her ex-partner. They had planned to meet, apparently.
Okay. People who knew them.
There was what sounded like an explosion.
Oh.
And then their 2 bodies were just bloody and horrible right there on the street.
Wow.
But it turned out that her ex-partner had come and shot her with a sawed-off shotgun and then killed himself directly after.
Wow.
So this woman...
Shocking.
Yes. Shocking, of course, like in the middle of the day,
street.
right next to a kids park, like a little playground.
Now I realize the relevance of that piece of information.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh.
Poor people.
Yeah, so her name was Maria Lourdes del Hoyo. She was a native of San Sebastian, but she was a resident of Orio. She was 47 and a mother of 2. A 16-year-old and a 20-year-old.
Oh, man.
So, and these were from a previous relationship, though. So this person, this ex-partner of hers, they'd only dated for a year. And then the relationship ended. And it sounds like they had planned to meet for whatever reason. And then he just came and killed her.
Wow. And
then killed himself. The man who committed the crime was Alberto Casado. He was born in Orio, and he was about 50. He was a fisherman and a futsal coach. I don't know what that means.
Futsal is like football de sala. So it's football that's indoors.
Okay.
So I don't know what you call that in English, but...
He lived just like 200 meters from where this happened. And apparently he had a coffee in a bar nearby before he went and did this. And so, like, the sound of it made a lot of the neighbors think that it was an explosion. The sound of it made it... They were like, oh my God, there was an explosion. So they sent... the Archainta sent out, like, a bomb squad.
Right.
To investigate first. To see what the heck happened. And apparently he was carrying it in, like, a shoebox.
With a gun.
Shoebox, yeah.
Okay.
And it turned out it was a gun that was a sawed-off shotgun that was registered in his name, that he was the registered owner and legally possessed, but had manipulated it to make it illegal. And had no background of violence or anything. You know, but I think she had never called him out for violence or like pressed any charges against him for violence. He had no former charges for violence. But I often think, like, so many people don't report that stuff. Yeah. You know, like, if it happens in the relationship, they often just say, okay, nope, I'm done, I'm out. You know, like, I'm not putting up with this, so they just leave.
If they've got enough...
So maybe that's what happened here. Like, she was like,
got enough space to do that. Sometimes it's too late even.
Yeah, so like maybe she left when it looked like he might be violent. And
Yeah. Wow. That's so sad.
yeah, very sad.
Wow.
So that's the first story I had. And so that's the worst story I have for today. So there you go. I got the bad one out of the way. But it was very shocking. Like,
Yeah.
really shocking. Like, in the middle of a very small town. I don't even know
Yeah.
how big Orio
It's
is.
tiny.
Yeah.
Just from the map on
It's
Google,
really
you
small.
can see it's tiny.
So
Literally,
people, I'm sure a lot of people knew them. Like, just really...
it's
yeah.
like 10 streets across and 7 streets
Yeah,
wide.
it's nothing.
That's about it. Yeah.
But no.
Yeah.
it
Well,
wasn't.
my feelings go out to the family, poor children. That's
And of
really
course,
horrible.
like a lot of these cases, there's been a huge outcry with machista crimes.
Yeah.
Like, this has got to stop. These partners killing their ex-partners,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah.
So there have been
So there's
protests.
lots of protests and memorials and
That's nice to hear.
vigils and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, people here are so nice about that. But really,
Well,
I
people are
mean,
fed up with hearing about this. It's like she was number something in machista crimes of this year.
it's a good thing to keep track.
Okay, the
by
number of
saying
women
that.
murdered by gender violence in Spain rises to 18 this year. And to 1,202 since the statistics began in 2003.
That's a
So in Euskadi, she was the first woman murdered in 2023.
okay. That's good to know. I mean, it is almost middle
It's
of the year.
very, yeah, I've read also, yeah, that the stats here are much lower than in the rest of the state.
That's good to know.
Yeah. All right, we're back.
We're back.
Okay, so this story is not all that crazy, but it's kind of crazy. Had it happened, anyway. So
Let's see.
the roof of a polideportivo, which is like a sports center or like a gym,
Yeah.
like a municipal
School
gym,
yeah.
it collapsed.
Oh my gosh. Why are you laughing, Chili? Was anybody hurt?
No, nobody was hurt. That's why I'm
Okay, we
laughing.
can laugh. Good.
Yeah, it happened in the early hours, like around 7 a.m., so before it was even open.
Good.
But so it collapsed. Some neighbors heard it.
Okay.
And we're
Still
like-
not getting the laughs, but yeah.
Well, I mean, just that they heard it, and it. They were getting testimonials from residents around the area. So it happened around 7 in the morning, and it was closed, right? So because it occurred at that time, nobody was hurt. So it was like in the court of like a paddle court. Paddle is a sport that's very popular here, but it's like it's kind of like racquetball or squash. It's like a similar type of for those of you who know those types of sports, it's like a closed-in court
Okay.
with walls, so you hit the wall with the ball.
You're speaking to our heterosexual listeners.
I used to play racquetball. I have level 4 racquetball
Wow.
at university.
Look at that.
It was always my extra credit that I would get, pass or fail. So I'd try to fit in like a credit that I could get to get my student aid, your financial aid.
Oh, right.
In order to get the financial aid, you had to be a full-time student. So you would have to be so many credits per semester. So I used to, think, okay, I'm working and I've got to go to school. So I did some hard classes, maybe 4 hard classes, but I still had a couple of credits that I needed to fulfill to get the student or the financial aid.
Right.
So it would always be like a sport. So I did like snowboarding or I did racquetball for 4 years. So I was like the highest level of racquetball. Anyway, paddle is much like racquetball. It's in that type of court. Okay.
Yeah.
So the ceiling collapsed into this court and
good ceiling.
nobody was there. Nobody got hurt. And and it did not interrupt any of the other classes for the
They were
For the
studying
day.
at the time. Oh,
like
right.
it collapsed
Okay.
and they just continued with the other like, okay, well that court's out of commission, so
Let's not do PE.
but nobody can rent out the paddle court for this day, but they did have other classes. I thought it was funny in the sense that nobody got hurt, So.
Oh, it's good there. It's very good for that.
All right, do you have a story for us?
I do.
Okay.
I do. we're continuing a theme here.
Okay.
Nicaragua, we're back to Nicaragua.
Yes, Nicaragua.
And again, priests.
All right.
Ortega has been
Yes.
changing his mind a lot.
Ortega. Yeah.
If you read the Wikipedia, it's pretty random, right? He's like, he was just killing priests at first, and then he outlawed abortion,
Yeah.
total 180, and now he's putting priests in jail again.
Okay.
Right? So this is what happened. He put two people were sent to jail, two sacerdotes. So I'm translating sacerdotes
Sacerdote. Yeah. Like a.
as priests.
Yeah.
I think it is. And I think we're talking about the Catholic Church, so
Yes.
we call them priests, right? So this is a church in Managua, the capital. The two people who were taken to prison was Eugenio Rodriguez Benavides and Leonardo Guevara Gutierrez. And you wouldn't have thought it, right? But Guevara
Yeah, I didn't know that.
means just under the top of the mountain. So not quite at the top of the mountain.
Okay.
At first, they denied that these guys were even in prison. And then, after a couple of days where they had disappeared, and people were like, well...
They just disappeared.
Yeah, and then eventually
So they were secretly arrested.
they confirmed that they were under arrest. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They are accused of being involved with an NGO. Now, the reason why I'm very skeptical is because we were just checking. Just this article actually says more than 3,500 NGOs have been closed by the Nicaraguan government over the last few years. So it's not like this NGO certainly did anything wrong. I think he's just angry at NGOs. So yeah, trouble brewing in Nicaragua still, and it was kind of funny because I just clicked Nicaragua
And you got a Basco.
and police or something, and sure enough, one of the surnames was Basco. So
Yeah.
you know, just that's the
This is
comment.
the go-to story, yeah.
But I think it's just as high in Cuba, to be honest.
Probably, yeah,
and
for
a few
sure.
more places. But anyway, it's since it was a theme of our podcast so far, I thought it was nice for us to cover that story.
Yeah. Okay, well, I have a story about some 27 people that were arrested from Guipúzcoa, Navarra, Galicia, and País Vasco, or Basque Country, French Basque Country.
Oh,
Okay?
27. That's a lot.
Yep, 27 people. For illegal trafficking of angulas.
Oh.
So angulas is like the baby eels,
Yeah.
right? And it's a very popular delicacy.
I think they call them leaven in English, no?
11. I don't know.
So?
I don't know what they call them in English.
So?
So they're just like these little tiny baby eels, and they're very much a delicacy and very expensive.
I've never eaten the real ones.
I've never eaten the real ones either because they make a lot of fake ones
Yeah.
that they put on top of pinchos.
And I love
And
them.
it's like cod, but they paint them. Like they literally paint them to look like
a little line on the...
they put a line on their back to look like an eel, and then some little eyeballs. They paint little eyeballs on them to make them look.
The cheap ones don't have eyeballs, but... I've never eaten ones with eyeballs, but... It definitely looks cute, and I've only seen them like in Japan. And when...
Well, that's where they were sending them all.
Of course they would.
To Asia.
Of course they would.
That's what happened. Okay, so they were all arrested. It was a macro operation, they say, against the illegal trafficking of eels, in which they carried out 30 simultaneous searches in homes, companies, and clandestine nurseries, or farms, I guess, in which they seized 1.5 tons of live specimens. Okay, of
Wow.
these eels. And this was carried out by the Guardia Civil and the French National Maybe you can say that.
Gendarmerie.
Thank you. That was
Gendarmerie, if you want to do it more in English.
Gendarmerie. They got all the live ones. They were intended to be sold to Asian countries. 7 tons of frozen batches were seized without traceability or sanitary controls. They were unsuitable for putting into the food
Market.
and more than 2 million euros of assets were seized.
Wow.
Yep. So the
Big
recovered
operation.
eels that they seized, the ones that were alive, were returned to their natural environment to preserve their survival.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
I found it, Anguilla in English,
Oh yeah, what is it?
Can be
Baby
called-
eel.
or elver.
Elver. Okay.
I mixed it up. I think it said something similar to that, but I didn't say that.
Okay.
Looks like an
So
elf.
this is a highly valued product in some Asian countries where its price reaches values of up to 5,000 euros a kilo. So for years they've been finding criminal groups and organizations that are dedicated to stealing batches of live eels and sending them to Asia.
Yeah.
So this was the group that they arrested were made up of both fishermen and commercial managers and wholesalers. They were a legal circuit of supply to citizens of Chinese origin who had clandestine nurseries in Paris and
Antwerp.
in Belgium, right?
Yeah.
So they would organize trips for people to Asia who, through different European airports near the nurseries, carried luggage containing the eel specimens.
Wow.
Yeah. So the stuff that they were able to, it says, during the investigation, it was found that up to 14 tons of juvenile eel, so the baby eels, and 31 tons of adult eel were removed from this illegal chain of people, which in the legal market would have reached the value of more than 6.7 million euros. Yeah, so that's all I've got on that. But
Well, I mean,
very Basque, no? That
it's
story.
super Basque. I mean,
They love those here.
I mean,
It's like a Christmas time food,
true.
you know, like the special
The utmost
times
delicacy.
of the year. Yeah, they're a delicacy. It's like
Yeah,
caviar, you know, or like...
I'm a bit conflicted about that because it's like, well, doesn't matter that I've tried it or not, but the fact is,
I've never tried the real thing.
yeah, no, me neither. But the weird thing for me is that I don't know how much people in Asia eat the babies. I know here we eat the babies, but I know in Japan the main market is for adults, and they want
Yeah.
unagi.
Yeah.
Unagi is
very
a very
popular in sushi, yeah.
famous dish in sushi. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the issue is they like to have the babies and they'll buy them. They traditionally would raise them in rice paddy fields. And so they would help with controlling insects. And, you know, there's good things about the whole culture as well. But of course, like most species, they're declining. So, yeah, just last year they put, I think, eel in general, they just like, well, maybe it's not the best species to eat, you know? And so it's very dependent on which region you're getting it from, because some subspecies are kind of like more under pressure than others. So I guess the ones here aren't under so much pressure, but, you know, like eating babies is not the best way to go.
Well, and I think the main issue is that they weren't following all the controls or the regulations of the trade, right? So they weren't following
Well,
fishing standards
Yeah,
or
because-
fishing regulations and then
yeah, because
sanitary
the
regulations.
moment the thing is not considered, considered like a
Endangered.
species of concern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're not supposed to be just eating it. Like,
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to do it. So of course you're gonna have problems. But like, I'm sure there's legal ways to do it.
Yes, and there is.
It's just then you've got also
Probably
limits.
gonna-
You're not supposed
Exactly.
to get 100% of the babies
Right.
or things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Because there's also a lot of issues with the eels. Traditionally, they go up one stream, and they have babies up at the top of the stream, and the babies, they swim out into sea, grow up once they're born out of eggs, and then they come up to the same stream to lay eggs again when they're adults, years and years later.
Right.
So because of that, it's like very hard. Like if a population goes extinct in a stream, you might not get any.
You won't get anybody coming back to
Yeah.
lay eggs.
So then you have to have a whole thing of putting the babies in as babies or as eggs in the stream to see if they come back to that stream, and that sometimes works, that sometimes doesn't work. So it's a very hit and miss thing. And so, you know, you can have certain streams and river systems that are very successful and still have eels, but you can have ones that have collapsed. So
No.
it's an issue, guys.
Yeah, well,
we should be
yeah.
careful with eel and eat it with
I don't. I mean,
sparing
I've
caution.
tried them because it's just basically cod. What I've eaten.
Oh, you're talking about the pretend ones.
The pretend ones I've eaten.
That's
on a pincho, but like
That's
to me,
not a
it's
problem.
not appetizing at all.
That's not a
To
problem.
see little worm-like things on your food.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
it's,
it's not
like fish
appetizing to
pasta is what they make. Really,
Yeah.
The pretend version of it is just a little fish
Exactly.
pasta.
Yeah, fish pasta. Okay,
Vermicelli.
shall I tell another one?
Go for it.
Okay, so a court in San Sebastian has ruled in favor of a chef or a restaurant. So Paulo
Airaudo.
okay, so he was sued, this chef, because he runs this restaurant, the Amalia restaurant in Paseo de la Concha in San Sebastian.
Okay.
He has just achieved his second Michelin star. He charged 3 clients, or at least one of them, the one that made the reservation, 510 euros for not showing up.
Sorry.
So they made a
Ouch.
reservation,
Yeah.
didn't show up, and he charged them what the 3 meals would have cost at his
Wow.
restaurant.
Wow.
So the client then sued him, and the chef won.
Oh, the chef won.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I mean, I can't say
So-
I disagree. I'm kind of ambivalent about it.
Yeah, because I guess these restaurants are really high demand,
They're very high
and these
demands.
tables are very high demand, So he could have, so for him it was like losing money, right?
Yeah. If you had the excuse that you phoned the same day.
So he charged each client, so the 3 of them, 170 euros each.
It's the price of
So the
menu.
man warned that he would take the matter to court for having already charged the sum of 3 covers, 170 euros each, on his card without having enjoyed any service at the restaurant.
He knew
So-
when he could have the service enjoy.
Yeah, but he changed his mind. So he was like a guy traveling. So according to this story, it sounds like the guy called,
That's the thing.
and
If
then
you
he
called,
decided
though-
to delay his visit by 24 hours and tried to postpone his reservation
Oh,
at the hotel, which is in the same building as the restaurant.
well,
Okay? So he figured,
yeah.
because he had changed his reservation at the hotel, that it would then transfer to the restaurant, which it did not, because they are separate entities.
There are some gray areas there, to be sure.
Yes. So then when he didn't cancel at the restaurant, they charged him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, be careful, guys.
So
don't-
they accept cancellations up to 72 hours in advance.
Ooh.
Okay? Otherwise, you're going to be charged 170 euros for canceling. So that's a very interesting...
It's good to know.
Good. Noted.
Yeah.
Don't make a reservation and then just last minute cancel it.
Yeah. I've been thinking if I want to go.
Because let's see what he says. He affirms. This is what the chef said. He says the non-appearance of these clients entailed an economic damage for his business that seeks excellence and distinction both in obtaining the raw material, aka lobster from Scotland, or products originating from Japan.
Wow. Yeah.
He gave his examples, as well as the preparation and the subsequent presentation. So he goes through all that trouble for an empty table, and then he loses money on it. So
Bit over dramatic of the
I know.
explanation.
Well,
but
he's the one that got sued,
Fair.
so he had to like build a defense, right?
and
Say
have to.
this is why I charged him 510 euros.
It's for 3 people.
Expensive for not having anything. And we're back.
Hello there, everybody. We're back again. So, my story now.
Okay.
Another one. My last story.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering.
This one is not in Nicaragua, right?
No, it's very Basque. So, it's, they're all Basque related. But this is a court ruling that was given in Vitoria-Gasteiz, the capital of the Basque Country. Mm-hmm. So the ruling from the judicial was saying that you have to accept policemen from municipal police that don't have the level B2 in Basque.
And B2 would be like intermediate, upper intermediate Basque.
Exactly. So since 2019, or a little bit before, they had been demanding that you have that to enter. 100 or 200 people had been rejected because they didn't have this level, B2, and now because of the ruling, they have to be accepted. I disagree with this ruling profoundly, and I'm very upset by it, and I was really stressing out about it, because it's very depressing that we have to, fight for our police to speak the language of the Basque Country in 2023. I'm really disgusted that the fact that it was a judge in Vitoria-Gasteiz that came out with this, and it's within the Basque Country even. It's more offensive even. We're fighting. There's only about a third of people who use Basque day to day. I know that younger people have more Basque in their lives, but they don't necessarily use it day to day, So the fact that it's a very slippery slope, and I don't like it at all. This article was saying at the end, this just came out this week, but at the end they were saying that the government is probably they're going to appeal, because, as I said, communities that are missing a person.
Well, they need more police.
If they need another police, you don't know which municipality they're in and whether it's a majority Basque-speaking municipality. So,
yeah, I don't know what to say about it, because I don't know. I know that. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to get into it.
Yeah, it's fine. I know you're ambiguous about the theme, and it's everybody is free to have their own opinions, and that I'm very committed to the cause of Basque language, especially.
Yeah, I know you are.
And so I think Basque autonomy in a political sense is very important to safeguard Basque.
I understand your passion for it, and we probably differ on a few things. We've had Douglas and I have known each other for a very long time. We've had a lot of very emotional arguments over the years.
Yeah.
Where we both ended up crying.
Yeah.
But it's just because we disagree on some things. But I don't disagree with your...
I disagree with every friend of mine on a lot of things. Of course we do. That's why we're individuals.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
That's the beauty of friendship, is that we know we're different.
Yes.
But we love each other.
Absolutely.
And we believe in a lot of things in common.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's the most important
We agree
thing.
more than we disagree.
Of course. What was our rule? 80%'s enough?
Yeah. All right. Let's go with a more lighthearted story out of Donosti again.
Donosti.
Yep.
The heart of the Basque-speaking country.
They do speak a lot more Basque than Bilbao, for sure.
Statistically.
Yeah. So, a parked car.
Okay, we're starting
wreaked havoc.
Oh, really?
A parked car. This is the best thing about this story. A parked car. So, a parked car ran over the terrace of a bar in Gros. The Gros neighborhood. You know Gros?
It's part of Donosti?
Yeah, it's a neighborhood that has a lot of nice... Yeah, I spend a lot of time in Donosti because I have friends that live there. Goyo. Hey, Goyo.
Hi, Goyo.
Hi, Sergio.
Hi, Sergio.
I don't know if Sergio listens, but Goyo definitely does.
Yes.
So a parked car ran over the terrace of a bar in the Gros neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. I'm still confused. Was there a lot of wind involved? How was the parked car?
No. This is what happened. The handbrake wasn't on.
Oh, no.
So it basically was parked near the terrace, and then I guess it just started
rolling,
moving downhill into the terrace.
Oh.
So it just ran into all the tables and chairs,
Of course, it's silent. So did people realize it was coming?
Well, yeah, like people had to jump out of the way. This is around 9 p.m. at night.
Oh.
And
Prime
it
time.
was on a slight slope, it says in the story. So the customers who were sitting in the outdoor terrace of the premises at the foot of the street were kind of impacted by the car.
Oh my gosh.
But nobody really got that hurt.
Well, if it wasn't too fast.
And it was stopped by a pot, like a large pot at the end. Like that was probably holding like some lovely flowers.
So is this our first...
So the car was like just barreling through the tables and the
Yeah,
chairs
right,
and everybody that was
right.
sitting on the
Okay,
terrace,
okay,
and then
okay.
just was stopped by this pot, probably of flowers. At the
Some
end.
minor drama.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it...
So there were ambulances sent to the scene.
Oh, so bad.
I know.
That's
It was
very
sent to
bad.
the scene. There were no significant injuries, but they had to attend to several people after having suffered scratches and being shaken by fright.
Well, I guess we can see how
So
how high up the echelon that neighborhood is, right? People are very sensitive in that
this
neighborhood.
drama
Yeah.
at the highest level. Yeah,
I mean, if it's that kind of, it's a nice part of town, right? So
I mean, the whole town is nice.
It is.
There's not really a bad part of town.
but gross,
Dynasty.
gross specifically, I hear with tones.
Bueno,
of-
no, it's a nice. But like,
just
okay,
nice.
La Concha, where the Michelin restaurant was located, that charged the guy 510 euros. That's a nice part of town, right? Gross was like the part of town that was like outside of that, right?
Okay.
So, but now it's super trendy, and
Oh,
so there's a lot of like new,
so it's like recently gentrified.
kind of, but like the whole thing is
It's all
gentrified. The whole
gentrified,
place
yeah.
is like
The whole dynasty.
nice,
for
yeah.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
there's no bad part of town
No,
in
no.
Dynasty.
It's gorgeous, guys.
Gorgeous. You
The
gotta
whole
go.
thing
You
is
gotta go. It's lovely. There's no riffraff.
No, too expensive.
It's very
even the
expensive.
bus there is
It's
expensive.
too expensive to go there and do any bad shit.
Oh, the nasty. Or, as we might say in this occasion, ñoñosti.
Yes. Ñoño. You have to explain what that is. What is ñoños?
Ñoño, so ñoño is, it's like if you call a guy ñoño, ay que ñoño eres, right? Oh my gosh, you're so ñoño.
Okay.
It's kind of like saying, oh, you're so posh.
Ah, okay.
Like,
All right.
so it, with posh in perhaps a slightly more silly way.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
almost like insulting.
It is definitely,
It's
it is
definitely
definitely
Yeah.
insulting. Like, yeah, I guess you could call you posh in a nice way. I've never heard this.
You couldn't call me that.
I mean, yeah, but like, yeah, I'm just, yeah. It's been a long time I haven't heard the word posh in a nice context, is what I mean.
No, true.
But
true.
ñoño is...
A lot of people get offended by posh.
ñoño is not evil. It's not bad, but it is silly. Like, it's
like
calling you
upper
silly.
class,
Yeah.
or like you're too
So this is a perfect example.
image oriented or something.
Yeah, in my brain, because if you say you're ñoño, it's like, oh, you're kind of like a weak and silly, and you've got wrong priorities in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you're shocked and
Horrified
by
by
a
this
car that just slid,
and you need an ambulance.
yeah,
to
you
tend
know,
to.
that would be perfect occasion to call somebody ñoño.
Yeah, totally.
So, because Donosti is such a rich place, people sometimes play with the name of Donosti and call it ñoñosti,
Oh,
which
that's
is
lovely. I love
perfect for
Yeah.
this occasion, right?
that. Yes, absolutely.
So, that's,
So it all came to an end when a group of people managed to remove the vehicle from the terrace and held it down to prevent it from moving again.
so they got the tables back.
They just stopped. They all just went and put their hands on the car, basically, to stop it from...
Hilarious.
It hit the pot, and then everybody went to, put their hands on it
Reorganize the tables.
to prevent it from moving again. Mm-hmm. And the owners of the car went down to the street after hearing all the noise and then activated their... Then they just put on the handbrake.
I mean, the drama.
The drama.
Julie.
So anyway, that story is funny because I, found it this morning while looking for stories to talk about tonight. And tonight when I was leaving work, I was crossing one street and there was a cop car in the middle of the street with its lights on.
Okay, surprise.
And it appeared as though a car that had been parked in a parking spot had rolled out into the street. It looked like the same thing. And I was like, oh my God, that's like the story I just found about a car that was just parked and somebody didn't put on the handbrake.
Our second parking
or the emergency
crime.
brake. Yeah.
Our second parking crime.
Yep.
Never had
So there
one of
you
those.
go. That's the mini crime time for tonight.
Even parking can be a crime, guys.
Yeah, put on the handbrake.
Put on the handbrake.
Actually, I have a story that I did in Boise, Idaho. I did not put on the handbrake.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
It was horrible because it wasn't my car. It was my friend's car. It didn't hit anything, but I was...
Lucky Julie.
I know. I was parked in the parking garage at my university.
Okay.
And I parked and I was leaving and I was walking. And then I heard people yelling, and I turned around and I saw the car, my friend's car that I had borrowed, rolling out into the middle of the parking. And I was like, oh my God! So I didn't put on the handbrake. So that actually did happen to me.
So did it sort of stop by itself? Or did you have to...
Yeah, it was rolling out, but there were people kind of trying to stop it because people were worried it was going to hit a car.
Excellent.
And so it didn't hit anything.
Community. 10 points.
But it was really embarrassing more than anything.
Well,
it was more like, oh my God,
embarrassing.
that's mine. I did that. I had to turn around and go back and like...
Hey, at least there was
put
not...
on the handbrake.
Imagine if some rich people were sipping wine in a bar.
And then it ran through like tables and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
way worse.
That wasn't as bad.
Worse.
Yeah, it would have been a lot worse. Could have been worse.
10 points, boys.
Could have been worse. But I have had that happen. So it's possible. It does happen.
Your pain. Feel your pain.
It was pretty embarrassing.
Thanks everybody for joining us again.
Thank you. Yes. As always.
Please remember to give us a like sometimes and
send us stories.
Also,
if you've got any.
Also, and
the diaspora of the Basque Country.
And we want to just remind people. On the dawn of AI, when AI is going to get all our jobs, please like our podcasts and give us a rating and just comment on how you found it.
Or a review, yeah.
See you in a couple of weeks.
See you next time. Yeah. We bid you agur. Crimes of the Basque Lands is written and produced by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
Julie Garcia,
I'm Megan Dooley.
The sound and editing for each episode by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
I'm Megan Dooley.
Theme song written by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
Julie Garcia,
I'm Megan Dooley.
Sung by the choir with no name and produced by Tom Squires. Podcast art by Distinct Signal. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Crimes of the Basque Lands and contact us at crimesofthebasquelands@gmail.com with story ideas worldwide which have a connection to the Basque Country or any rave reviews. If you like our podcast, please subscribe, like, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, agur!